Hello dear friends of the bass and welcome to my basement. I'm Toby and I'm back with the Harley Benton MV-4 MSB short scale bass. As I promised in the first video on this bass, I took it apart. Let's see how that went. So you probably spotted it already in the intro. I have already done some modifications on this bass. Let's start with the tuners. I didn't really like the stock tuners in the first video, although I thought they would be maybe some kind of lightweight tuners because they are partly made out of plastic. But I took one out and it weighed in at around 88 grams, which really isn't that lightweight. So I had these Sadowski light tuners lying around and I put them in. They are a bit lighter than the stock tuners and they work much better, so I'm happy with the tuners now. I also changed the string retainer. Although I like that they put a 3-string string retainer on these basses, I don't like the type because you have to thread through the middle string, which is okay when putting on new strings, but it's kind of inconvenient if you remove a set of strings that you may want to use later on, because you have to straighten out the string to get it through, and it's really inconvenient. So I changed the string retainer for this one, and this works much better in my opinion. Looking at the neck, there's the fretboard, which, if you have a closer look, has a pretty rough open grain surface. It also was quite dry. I think that's laurel. It's not the best wood in the world, but you find it on many inexpensive basses nowadays. Also on the neck there was a problem with the frets. You may remember from the first video that I cut my hand on a sharp fret end, so I had to address that. And I did roll off the fingerboard edges a bit while I was at it, and now it feels quite nice. Also in the first video I said I thought the fret leveling was quite good, but as I looked closer it wasn't really that well done, so I re-leveled the frets and now I can get a bit of a lower action, not super low but quite comfortable to play. Moving on to the body, you'll notice that I removed the tug bar. Although I like the optics of the tug bar, it really gets in the way, especially when slapping the bass. I removed the pickguard, the pickups and the control plate, and underneath there was this black paint that I thought might be shielding paint, but as far as I could measure, it's not conductive, and also there wasn't any ground connection made to the surface of the paint, so even if it was a graphite paint, it wouldn't have worked. So while I had the bass apart, I decided to do a proper shielding with copper tape, which I obviously connected to ground. And now I think the noise, especially on the bridge pickup, which is a single coil, is much better. Other than that, I left the electronics as they were. The final modification I did was to simply leave out the black plastic washer underneath the neck plate, because I think it looks ugly. So overall, my verdict from the first video still stands. I think the second generation of MV4 basses, at least this first batch, is inferior to the first generation, especially considering the build quality. Also, I think that they made some downgrades with the changes they made. The tuners on the first generation were way better. I also think that the Roswell pickups were way better. The only upgrade they made is the truss rod adjustment with the spoke wheel at the heel of the neck. That's quite nice. And of course, on the MSB model, they added the pickup selector, which was missing in the first generation. So that's it for today on the Harley Benton MV-4 MSB short scale bass. If you have any questions left on this bass, feel free to ask them in the comments. I'll try to answer them. I hope you enjoyed this little video. If so, please hit that like button. Thank you for watching and see you the next time.